Hello guys, this is Doronsmovies, and today I'll be giving you 8 interesting lore facts about Azeroth, discussing various topics from history to the characteristics of the planet itself. So without further ado, let's get into the lore. When the universe was born in the explosion, shards of light dispersed everywhere. From these shards, inside the cores of a very small number of planets, world souls were formed. These souls were actually titans, and when the first one ever was created, he set out on a mission to find the rest of his kin. Not long after, many more awoke, and they started becoming a serious power in the universe, as well as more efficient in their task. The Titans passed through countless planets, shaping even those that didn't have a world soul, but when they did manage to find one, they would take very special care. At first, the native elements would be pacified, the entire planet restructured, and various life seeded. This process greatly increased the chances of the slumbering Titan waking up, but even then it wasn't really guaranteed. Shortly before the demise of the entire Pantheon, they stumbled onto the planet known as Azeroth that they probably would have avoided because of how corrupted it was from the void, but they couldn't abandon it as the world soul was so incredibly powerful. After some effort, Azeroth was cleansed, and the Titans saw it as possibly the only weapon to defeat the Void Lords, as well as potentially the strongest Titan there ever was. However, nothing came of their plan as the Burning Legion was formed, Sargeras betrayed the Pantheon, and the Titans were defeated. We don't know if Azeroth will ever wake up, but it is highly possible that it never will. Nevertheless, it is most likely the strongest Titan in the entire universe. The Old Gods are creations of the Void Lords with the main intention of turning a world soul into a tool of the Void. They slammed into Azeroth at an unknown point in time, and initially their operations were very successful. The native elementals were caught completely by surprise, and even though they did band together, they were eventually overwhelmed and subjugated. Soon enough, the first real civilization on Azeroth was formed, known as the Black Empire. The Black Empire was so massive that it controlled most of the planet, with various cities, temples, as well as the main operation of corrupting the nascent Titan. Unexpectedly, however, the Titans discovered the world, and they waged the biggest war Azeroth had ever seen. The Pantheon created an army known as the Titanforged that defeated the Elemental Lords and the Old Gods one by one. The endeavor was successful, but it wasn't without collateral damage, as the Titan Amontul attempted to aid his army's facing defeat by ripping out the Old God Y'Shaarj himself. Unbeknownst to him, the creature was so deeply rooted into the crust of the world that the blood of the world soul poured out, which was later cauterized, becoming known as the Well of Eternity. The Black Empire was in the end defeated, but nevertheless the threat still looms over the planet, and the Old Gods could strike at any point. The creation of the Emerald Dream is not certain to this day. We know that many millennia ago it was created by the Titan Watcher Freya, but how it came into being is still uncertain. Some say that she wove it herself out of nothing, and others that it had already existed as the dream of the world soul, and that Freya just tapped into it as a way to commune with the nascent Titan. We don't know the full potential of this mysterious plane, but we do know that it is very important and that it played a big role in history. The Emerald Dream is a different plane, but still connected to the material one, which represents what Azeroth would have looked like if intelligent beings never changed the surface. The main purpose of it is to act as an evolutionary path for the flora and the fauna of the world. In the past, many druids have entered it in order to learn, as well as balance the nature in the material plane. Eventually, the realm was corrupted by the so-called Emerald Nightmare, which seeks to consume all of its life force. It emerged some 4500 years back when Saronite, the blood of the old god Yogg-Saron, corrupted a world tree. The tree itself was destroyed because it was so corrupted, but that didn't do much as Yogg-Saron managed to access and infect the Emerald Dream. The nightmare was beaten back in the past, but the threat still remains to this day. The Well of Eternity was created ages ago from the very blood of the world's soul. Unsurprisingly, this resulted in a lake of immensely potent energies. It played a big part in setting up the races in the world that we have today, and over 10,000 years ago, the dark trolls that settled there turned into night elves. Much to everyone's surprise, sometime later they were manipulated by the Legion and started using it as a portal for all of the demonic forces, starting the War of the Ancients. However, at the end of the invasion, the Well of Eternity imploded as the portal was destroyed. This resulted in such a massive explosion that the landmass of Kalimdor was split into all of the continents that are present today. The event is known as the Great Sundering, and to this day is one of the most important things that have ever happened to the world of Azeroth. There are two moons that can be seen from Azeroth, the White Lady and the Blue Child. Approximately every 430 years, the two moons come into perfect alignment in an event known as the Embrace. The White Lady is the larger moon, and the Night Elves worship it as their goddess Elune, while the Tauren call it Musha and see it as the left eye of the Earth Mother. What makes this interesting is that we don't really know what they are. Seeing that the bigger moon is Elune, it is completely surrounded with speculation. Some say it is the Naru, and Khadgar even believes that it created the Prime Naru. This could mean that Elune is heavily tied in with the light. On top of this, there is also a connection with the Well of Eternity, as well as Elune teaching Titanic words to the Night Elves. This most likely means that she is somehow tied to the Titans, and her connection to the light could make sense as the Titans were created from the light itself. So currently almost everything is a speculation, but there is probably going to be a big reveal in the near future. The Cataclysm, also known as the Shattering, was a worldwide disaster that struck Azeroth recently. Most people believe that it was Deathwing himself that caused the catastrophe, but in reality he only really started it. In the past, Deathwing had retreated to Deepholm, the elemental plane that exists alongside the material one, and there he recovered his strength. When he was finally ready to attack the world, he actually broke the connection between the material and the elemental plane. This rift was so insanely powerful that it caused massive earthquakes, volcanoes, floods, and every other possible disaster. Deathwing was in the end defeated, but the event known as the Second Sundering left an important mark on Azeroth that remains to this day. Azeroth is a home to a big number of various native races. However, alongside them, there are also many aliens that live there today. Most of them came in the recent times, but there are some that arrived much earlier. One of the early arrivals were the Old Gods that corrupted the entire world and established their own empire. They were defeated, of course, but the Old Gods and their minions are still a present threat to this day. In the recent times, many other races also made their way to Azeroth, mainly with the Orcish invasions, directly and indirectly. There are the Orcs that make an important part of the population, as well as the Draenei who didn't really have a choice but to escape, eventually crashing into Azeroth. Alongside them, many ogres and their ogre-like cousins also made this planet their home. In smaller numbers, there are many other races from many different worlds, such as the Ethereals, and also the demons that remained from the Burning Legion invasions. Today, Azeroth is a very diverse planet, but those that have settled there have no other choice but to call it their home. The Burning Legion has been on a mission to purge the universe for many millennia. Unfortunately for the living beings, they have been very successful, and at this point they have almost finished the job. In the Illidan novel, Illidan said that only a few worlds are left standing, and in Legion, a demon said that Azeroth is the only world left to be conquered. It is uncertain how true this statement is, but there is no doubt that most of the universe has already been destroyed. Azeroth is the only planet so far to have resisted this endless demonic army multiple times through thousands of years. Because of this, the new invasion is extremely important, and it will no doubt be the biggest fight we ever had. As the last line of defense for all life in the universe, we will have to go all or nothing in the fight against the Legion and either defeat them or perish. Alright, and that is all I have for this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this, and also like the video as it really helps out and keeps all of the content going. Thanks a lot for taking time out of your day to watch this video, and see you next time.